Callie, Lawson-Freeman, listen, the Aces have lost 2 games in a row now. And I'm starting with them because they are the reigning champs. And I will be working on my newest power rankings, which will go out tomorrow. But last week, I had the Aces ranked 2nd in my power rankings, Callie, right? And that was because the Connecticut Sun, were undefeated. And so I had the Aces ranked as 2nd in my rankings. And I feel like I've been giving them some respect because they're the reigning champs. Yeah. And also because Chelsea Gray's not there. And so I'm just like, honestly, I still think they're the best team once they're all intact. But you got to respect an undefeated record like the one the Sun were having. And also like they were playing incredibly good basketball. So I had the Aces 2nd for the most part. There were times in my rankings they dropped down a little bit. But for the most part, they've been like, you know, they 1 to start. They've been 2, and I really haven't been willing to move them lower. And I understand last night, Callie, that they did not also have, aside from Chelsea, they did not have Jackie Young, and Jackie Young has been under the weather. Even though she played in the last couple of games, she wasn't feeling well. So I understand all those things. And even in light of the fact that A'ja Wilson is having a phenomenal MVP season.
Yeah.
Callie, I'm going to have to drop the Aces in my power rankings. It has to happen. I have to drop them. What do you say to that?
I mean, listen, I'm an AP voter. I'm stuck with the same dilemma tomorrow. I gotta do my power rankings, and I'm not sure where to place the Aces. I think you can turn to someone like head coach Becky Hammon's comments after the last 2 games, and she has been blatant in saying like, we're not a good team right now. And a lot of that has to do with their approach. There's a huge target on your back when you are a back-to-back champion, and they know that. They talk about it after every loss, which has been 4 times now. I'm not joking. It comes up in every single post-game press conference after a loss. They talk about just the increased energy that these teams come with because they want to beat them so bad. And of course they would. You know, the Aces have something that every other team in this league wants. And so I think that Becky has pointed out they're not coming out consistently with the energy to combat that level of play. So, and they're not able to sustain it.
And Callie, it's crazy because when you look at this, right? So I had the Storm right beneath them, and the Storm beat them, and then went on to lose to the Lynx, right? In a blowout.
And that's exactly to my point. I mean, you look at when the Mercury beat the Aces, and then they went and had like the worst shooting performance ever in their next game. And so I think
they just dipped a lot. It wasn't even like that next game. They had only, up until recently, had only won like 1 in like 6 games. So I when I look at this, my major shifts are gonna come, like, so 1 through 5 is gonna definitely be reordered for me. And I have a sense of what it's gonna be, but I'm not gonna say. But 1 through 5, just looking at this, is gonna be reordered for me, right? And then before, like last week, really, the only thing that really shifted was like the middle. The middle shifted a lot, you know? So like when you get to like 6 through like 9, those are gonna probably make some changes too. I think 10, 11, and 12 stay the same for me because the Sparks like beat the Aces last night, right? How can I, even though, you know, the Fever just came out, they had that win and Caitlin had 30 points, right? Like the Sparks beat the Aces. Like you're gonna, right now, that's gonna get you, I guess, 10th if anyone cares. But so there's gonna be some definite shifts for me in 1 through 5, and then I'm gonna have to shift some things in 6 through 9 as well.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know. I'm looking, I'm squinting. I feel like I can't see it that well, but like, I agree. You have to give the Sparks some credit. I just think, I don't know, what goes through my mind, like I try to always value the strength of the wins, like, you know, what actually happened in the losses. And so, I mean, this Sparks game, if we're being real, it wasn't a super convincing victory. So it's like, yes, maybe move them up, but it's like something I'll be thinking about is like, yes, the Aces were without Jackie Young, without Chelsea Gray, without a reserve player in Kirsten Bell. Like they were kind of running on fumes, and then they still took the Sparks to the very last minute. I mean, within the last 30 seconds, they had a chance to win that game. And so that's something though that you have to look at just when it comes to ranking the Aces. It's like they keep losing games that they really have a chance to win. And so it's like, how do you evaluate that when you're ranking these teams, you know?
Right. Well, listen, let me ask you a question, though, because yes, I get it. At the end of the day, for the Aces, we know all the reasons why they probably didn't win that game. But nonetheless, you're a young team like the Sparks, and that's a good win. And Rickea Jackson had like a breakout game of sorts, right? I mean, she's been great all season. We've been talking about her need to get minutes. She's been starting, and she was clutch. She was clutch in the game last night. She scored like 7 points, I believe, like in clutch time. Just a really, I would say probably her best performance so far on the season. So you were there. Like, were you at the game? Where was that game last night? Was it in Vegas? No, that was in LA.
It was in LA.
You were tuned in because you had to write your story, rather. What did you make of Rickea Jackson's performance?
Yeah, I mean, I thought it was great. I mentioned her when we were first doing our rookie ladder or something. I was really hoping to see an increased minutes, and then she came and did not disappoint. I think it was kind of cool to juxtapose her performance with Kate Martin's, because it was Kate Martin's first career start, and so they were battling. I mean, that was they were one another's defensive assignment, and so there were times where, you know, they were trading threes back and forth, or you see Kate Martin really working to guard her so that Rickea can't get in the paint. Like I thought it was a delight. You know what I'm saying? Like, you want to see these rookies go at it, and they did so. I thought it was cool that Rickea post game, she tweeted out, you know, respect to Kate Martin, because it's like, Kate Martin was drafted in the second round. Rickea is a number 4 overall pick. And I know there was a moment where Rickea scored on Kate Martin. She ran on the court. She did the too small celebration, but like that's just the game. Like, they were very competitive, and I think, you know, they both wanted to win. Post game, Kate Martin said, like, you know, because she was getting a lot of kudos for her performance. Kate Martin made all 3 of her 3-point attempts. She scored 11 points in the first half. Like, it was a good showing for her. But people were asking her about the performance. She's like, I wish we would have won. Like, I don't care about any of that. Like, I wish we would have gotten the win. So, but I thought it was a really cool matchup between the two of them, and I thought Rickea shined ultimately.
Yeah, for sure. And I mean, there have been some rookies shining all over the league. And of course, like, the story is always Caitlin Clark, as it should be. She had a big 30-point game against Washington the other night, and the Fever were coming off of some much needed rest. So, but the thing to me that stood out about that game and Caitlin was that I thought that was the most Caitlin-like performance I've seen of all of her games, like, from college. Like, she's had some good games, and she's had some, but like, she was efficient. She was getting the looks that she wanted, right? And like, yes, you have to contextualize, this was against the Mystics, but at the same time, like, to me, it was really her most brilliant performance so far. And it was the most that I've seen Caitlin look like herself. And so I'm gonna say that rest was really good, because they had 4 nights off before having to play. And I was there on the Sunday where she had 3 points, which was like her worst game of the season versus the Liberty. And like, that entire team, they just needed to rest. It was like very clear. So, but you know, they were playing Washington, and while it wasn't as great of a performance as she had the night before against the Chicago Sky, Aaliyah Edwards has really been stepping up really big as a rookie. Yeah. And she had a really big performance against the Chicago Sky. That was probably, you know, her breakout performance. You know, she became, here it is right here. She becomes the first 2024 rookie to notch a 20-point, 10-rebound double, right? Yeah. Like, it's, you know, and then again, I said, like, this was, you know, against the Sky, but then, you know, you also had Angel Reese on the other side of that, and she had, like, you know, she's just double. Like, she's having a really impressive season, Angel Reese, you know, she really is. And these rookies are just performing, Callie. They are performing and doing the thing. And then, you know, Camila Cardoso, we just saw that go up, but like, Camila Cardoso in her first game back, she was amazing in her first game back. And it kind of got overshadowed, Callie, because of what happened with Kennedy and Caitlin, but she was really great in that game because she's on a minutes restriction. 11 points, 71% from the field in only 18 minutes. And we see, like, what did they say? You can't teach 6'7", and you can't teach what she's doing. So like, these rookies are like really, 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 really shining. And we have shown we've shown the rookie some love, Callie, so far, but we have not talked MVP. And I think we can at least start thinking a little bit about the MVP race.
Oh, yeah.
Callie, is there anyone at all challenging A'ja Wilson right now for the MVP? Because she's the clear front runner. I feel like A'ja came this season to collect her things.
Absolutely. I said it in our previous segment. It is A'ja Wilson and everybody else. She is leading the league in points per game, in rebounds per game. She's tied for most blocks per game with 3. I mean, she is doing some unprecedented stuff. She is now the longest streak in WNBA history for points or games with at least 20 points. That is production on a level that, I mean, Diana Taurasi was the last person to have a streak. Hers was 13 games. A'ja is now to 14 games with at least 20 points. And that is like her baseline at this point. I mean, she went off last night in the loss to the Sparks. And so I think just from the start of this season, you go to media day and things like that. And she was asked, how does it feel to come in as a defending champion and the 2023 finals MVP? And her thing was, even then and still is now, like, that means nothing to me now. It's a clean slate. I want to win now. And you also have to think that 4th place vote from last year for regular season MVP is still in the back of her mind. It's still in Becky Hammon's mind. Becky mentions it every other press conference. When A'ja Wilson has an amazing game, she always says, like, if I had played A'ja 40 minutes last season, she would have been the regular season MVP because y'all don't watch the games and you only look at the numbers. So I think at this point now it's undeniable. Watch the games, look only at the numbers. There is no one who is even, I don't even think you could put them in the conversation, I think, with A'ja Wilson because of what she's doing.
And I really don't want to dismiss the other players because Alyssa Thomas is great. Nafisa Collar is having an amazing season. Stewie is Stewie, but like A'ja is just on another level right now. She really is. Well, listen, I'm glad. Like, guys, this league is so exciting. There are so many great players.
Why did you say it like that?
No, because I need people to know there's so much. Like, we just did a little check-in to let y'all see what's happening around the league. But this is where we want basketball discourse to go for the WNBA. Yeah. We want to talk about the players on the court. We want to talk about what they're doing, and they're doing some amazing things, right? And so if you have not had a chance to watch A'ja Wilson this season, you're missing out, and you need to watch because this girl right now, it is dominant. But the Lynx, the Sun, just depends on like what you're looking for. But they offer appetites for like all kinds of players, And I just think that what the Storm did, like I said in my power rankings, like I need them to beat a real team because they were on this streak, but they weren't like they're teams you should beat. They're teams you should beat. Fever, like. And they came in and they gave the defending champs some trouble. So guys, like there's so many storylines. Like I promise you, it's exciting, it's interesting. I'm not here to like, force you or beg you, but I'm just letting you know you are missing out if you're only focusing on one player. There's really so many great teams and players around the league. Callie, Lawson, Freeman, thank you so much as always for joining me.
Absolutely.